Live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this channel. I'm Chris Mizo. I talk about PCs and tech. Feel free to ask anything you would like about PC building or PC tech. And I gotta say, the newest news has been the most interesting, especially that NVIDIA decided to invest about $5 billion into Intel to working together. And it's not going to be exactly what everybody thinks it is in the beginning, at least so far from what they claim. They want to work with Intel on really servers, expanding servers, and they also want to be able to work together when it comes to not just the, you know what's funny? It just made me really think about like how NVIDIA was really after this whole x86 architecture, because it seems like they've been after it for a while. And about a few years back, they actually wanted to purchase ARM, but it never went through because the FTC, not really the FTC, but it never went through because it seemed that the EU, I think it was, that kind of blocked their decision on letting NVIDIA purchase ARM because they felt that they were practically going after a monopoly. But what's up, Aditya? Welcome, Takuma. Glad to see you. Welcome, guys. Actually, one thing I forgot to plug in. I gotta plug in my USB-C for the camera so it doesn't die here. So just give me a moment here, guys. This will only take me a second. But yeah, so how's everything with you guys? Hopefully everything has been well. It's funny. There's been a lot of rumors swirling about it too, that Intel and NVIDIA will work on a embedded GPU for Intel, but that doesn't seem the case so far. Intel claims that they are still very focused on doing their own thing when it comes to their graphics, but we will see. There we go. Yeah, we got power. Exactly what we needed. Oh, for there we go. Apologize for that jump scare right there. Hopefully the audio is also working good. This is the first time I'm trying to plug in the audio through the camera instead of doing it through the actual PC. So let me know if the audio is working well. Currently, I'm working on a couple different videos right now. It's been quite a crazy week, I gotta say. So, I want to tip. I want the 9060 XT 16 gigabytes or the 5060 Ti 8 gigabytes. So, what I would say is if you're going between those two, what are you trying to aim for? I'm assuming, is it going to be on the gaming aspect of it? I can certainly say that the 5060 Ti isn't going to be as well as you think it's going to be. It doesn't match up to its like predecessors, like the 3060 Ti, which was really like a 3060 Ti. The 5060 Ti is more like a 5050. So, but the RX 9060 XT might hit the expectations you're looking for if you're doing it for gaming. So Takuma says, I think NVIDIA and Intel, let me move my chat over here because you guys can already see me. So, there we go. So, there we go. So, Takuma says, I think NVIDIA and Intel are aiming at SoC. and to aim on the AMD and on the console and handheld market. Bingo. I like how you threw that little German in there. But yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be 100% more focused on that. Just give me a second. Make sure the camera's focused on the on my face here. So I do agree with that. I think it's going to be based just like what Takuma says. From research wise, it seems like they're very focused on competing with AMD when it comes to the handheld space. So more not just the handheld space, but also on laptops, because they want to become a more dominant SoC compared to something like ARM. Again, ironic, because if you remember from back then, the biggest loss that Intel had was they had a contract with Apple when they were the original ones helping them coming out with their processors. But eventually, that deal didn't fall through. They decided to go with ARM, and then ever since, it's like, I always thought Intel was going to come back with some sort of vengeance, and it seems like they have not forgotten about it, obviously. I certainly do hope that if they do come out with their SoCs, that they are going to be much more improved. And on top of the biggest problem that they had when it came with like Intel and of course separate GPUs is the fact that it's a very, how do I say, it takes a lot of power to keep your laptop running, so hence why you don't really get that long lengthy battery life that you would like out of a laptop, because again, if you're gaming on a laptop, it's definitely going to pull a lot of power, especially when it's coming from two different power sources. So if they come out with a SoC where it can also be efficient and also work when power is needed, or when power is needed to be utilized, that would be excellent for both Intel and NVIDIA. And of course, they want to build up their server racks. That's another thing that they certainly want to do in the business aspect. And we all know that NVIDIA is like laser focused right now on AI, as it seems that NVIDIA is not really focusing on their supers just quite yet, but maybe they'll surprise us at CES 2026. So sorry, can't stop staring at the beauty behind you. What are the specs? Oh, so the specifications right behind me, this PC back here, it is actually I'll start off with the GPU because everybody would love to know the GPU, which is going to be the RTX 5090. It does also have it's also a 9800X 3D AMD Ryzen 7, and it does also have a ASUS X870E Hero Crosshair. It does have 48 gigabytes of RAM, which is a G.Skill, and it also has what else? It does have the 2 terabytes of Gigabyte's Gen 5 10,000 AORUS, which is their Gen 5 SSD, and it does have a MSI power supply, which is about 1,000 watts. That's something I kind of want to upgrade in the near future. And the case wise, it is a Corsair. It is Corsair's, I think, 5500X is the case, but those are the specs for that PC. So It's Red says, should I get the ASUS AMD B650 Prime or B650M for the Ryzen 5 7600? If you had to choose between those two, personally, I think the B650 Prime would be certainly the better choice to get. The B650M is going to be a bit more of a compact motherboard. So back those times when Apple had Xeon CPUs in their products, costing nearly, that's the funny thing. It's funny how they had this like high grade processor, and they decided to kind of really pull away from that side, Apple. And it's funny because when ARM originally came out, nobody really was, everyone was skeptical, obviously, about it. But it turned out to end up being pretty good, which was the M series line. And of course, you got Snapdragon that has theirs that is is released. They're also working on a Generation 3. But if Intel and NVIDIA works on their SoC successfully, you can imagine that would honestly be like an ARM killer. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the developments are, and I would love to see them implement it, especially into, say, laptops and also in handhelds. And my biggest question is, do you think it would be cost effective as well? What's up, Redheck? Redheck? You should go with the Height Y70 Touch for the case, man. It would look majestic. Yeah, I agree. You know what's funny? We are going to be doing a stealth build. For everybody that's just tuning into the channel, I'm Chris Mizo. Welcome to the channel. We talk about PC and tech. Feel free to ask anything about if you're thinking of doing a PC build, or if you have any technical issues, feel free to ask. We do have a Discord. It's right down in the description box down below. You can show off your PC, and I will certainly show it right here into the live stream. Also, we are planning to do a stealth build. It's still in the works. I got in contact with the brand this past week, and hopefully we get the items sometime soon. Right now, I'm just waiting on the tracking numbers, and I have to follow through about next week to see where we are with the product. And as soon as we do, then we can go ahead and proceed with this stealth build, which is going to be quite exciting. What we really want to do is, it's going to be Project Ninja, to where it's going to be pretty much like all blackened out. And I'm thinking, and I'm sure everyone will love to agree with this as well, is try to get the most silent fans as possible, thinking Noctua so far, to make it really stealthy, make it sound like a PC is not even running. So, you should. It's funny. I just went over to system specs. Actually, the gaming build, it is a 9800X3D AMD Ryzen 7. It's also has a RTX 5090. It does have a G.Skill 48 gigabytes of RAM, and it is 6,000 megahertz of bus speed. No, 6,400 megahertz of bus speed. It's also a Gigabyte 10,000 AORUS. NVMe, and it does also have a Corsair 5000X case and the power supply. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. I heard that. Sometimes animations work and sometimes they don't, but I'm glad that it seems like they're up and running today. But it's a 5000X case, MSI MEAG 1000 power supply. Something I'm thinking about upgrading sometime soon, because I do want something a bit bigger just in case. I don't like having such a small power supply with a 5090 and a 9800X. But right now we're pretty much laser focused on this Ninja build that is coming up. And if you have any ideas or would love to see something, feel free to share. I do have this Gigabyte board that's just been kind of like sitting there in the box for the longest, specifically because I'm going to wait for the Intel 300 series to be released, and when that does, we could do something with that. But again, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I'm not looking forward to doing it, but I don't expect a big change, especially when it comes to Nova Lake's refresh. So, I mean, Intel CPU with iGPU combined with NVIDIA GeForce is cost-effective way, so people can run an SoC system and laptops, and there are models without iGPUs, of course. Oh, thanks so much. Love all the compliments about the PC. If you can exactly do a build like that, I mean, you gotta. Takuma's build is wonderful too. He has a wonderful build as well. Takuma could tell you all about his specs. I showed the how well his PC can run on Borderlands 4. We actually showed it on live stream to get an idea of how it runs. And the funny thing is, it's with frame generation, and it's also with DLSS and NVIDIA Reflex on, but it's still a bit of a struggle, even with a RTX 5090, believe it or not. But what is everybody's thoughts of like Borderlands 4 CEO just responding to everyone saying that, oh, this is if you don't like the game, then just code your own game. You could code your own game. It seems like we're getting like a lot of negative responses, like from companies such as from Borderlands 4. When Nintendo released their Nintendo Switch 2, not a lot of people were happy about it. And the response was, and Nintendo gave us a response back saying that if you don't like the Nintendo Switch 2, just you can just play on the old one, which is the Switch 1. But so another thing that's been also going on in the PC world, not only in the Nvidia and the Intel side, but it seems like AMD is also taking their action. They actually had a response. I didn't get to really read over the response over that whole situation of Intel and Nvidia working together, but AMD is certainly expected to come out with something amazing. AMD is actually one of the ones that are actually one of the more dominant ones when it comes to the whole handheld and when it comes to the laptop market. Well, I can say half and half on the laptop market, depending on where it is. AMD on the processor side, but when it comes to mostly handhelds, you'll see a lot of Ryzen handhelds. Intel has tried. They've really pushed out a Meteor Lake originally onto the handhelds, such as MSI's A1 Claw, and that seemed like it didn't really work well. Even on the second generation MSI Claw, it seemed that nobody really enjoyed it. So they ended up switching over to AMD, and AMD is now like pretty much across the board for most of these handheld devices. Even the new one that came out, I don't know if everyone saw it, pretty amazing device, which is the GPD Win 5. And the high-end model is quite expensive because it's not just a Z2 Extreme. In fact, they implemented the 70, or no, it was the 8000. It's I'll share the specs in a moment, but it's quite an expensive handheld. It can run up to about $2,400, which is insane. What's up, LSG? Good to see you. Yes, I agree, Anus. The game is badly optimized. So if you get a 650 watt Gigabyte PSU P650 for Ryzen 5 7600 and a 9060 XT, or 7600 XT, not decided yet. Want a white PSU, and if it's into the budget, would it be okay? 650 is really cutting it on the low side, but I could see that it can work together because the 9060 isn't that much of a power hog. But if you're looking for any specific power supply, feel free to let me know or what your budget is, and we could certainly take a look and see what we can find. And gaming devs have lost touch with gamers and are going Nvidia's route. So suggest me under a $283 PC. Sure thing, Demon. You can go onto eBay, and you can certainly find a $283 PC on there, or Facebook Marketplace. Those are the places that you can certainly find one. We need a studio setup tour. Certainly, we can definitely do that. I'm going to have to get multiple cameras here, so that way we can have it in all different angles. But it's not a large space, the studio. The studio is probably about, here we measure by feet, so 87 square feet. And if it's meter wise, I would say it's really not large. Maybe about, let me see. I would say about 5. I guess it would be 5 meters, about 5 and 5. So, they are sharing something together. And in the future, we see that the biggest concerns are what Chinese factories are blasting out tech, even with those on the West. Don't go HP Omen. That is true. It's funny because Takuma was just about to to help out his friend, because his friend ended up wanting a PC, and one of the PCs that he saw, because he didn't want to really build a PC, was a pre-built PC, which was an HP Omen, the top of the line one. Top of the line HP Omen in Europe is quite expensive. It's insanely expensive. It's I think it's a little bit over 6,000 euros. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's quite expensive. And if you look at the specifications, they do not match for that price tag. And instead, Takuma ended up saving his friend and definitely doing a PC build for him, which is awesome. I'm glad that he was able to help him out, because that would have led him down a very dark path. Anytime you buy a pre-built PC, it's not necessarily 100% bad, especially when you are new into PC gaming. You want to experiment, that's great. But I don't really recommend going top of the line PC, pre-built PC, if you choose to go down that path, because then you... reason being is because you're not sure what you're going to really run into when it comes to these pre-builds. Sometimes they'll be, sometimes they can run great. And there's other times where there can be certain failures to where the warranty may not cover it. And a lot of these pre-builds are usually only a 1-year warranty. You could always purchase an extra warranty with it, but most of the time it's not really going to be worth it. But yeah, saying that's the case, yeah, definitely don't go HP Omen. So I'm thinking of getting a Gigabyte P650 SS or a i650 watts, 80 silver. No, I won't forget you guys, I promise. I always appreciate everyone that's coming in, as always, on to this channel. So I'm thinking of getting this Gigabyte P650S. Sure, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go on to 6200. That's insane. And yes, that is a good point. He said, Takuma said that Gamer Nexus actually showed it, and the same exact model, which is pretty insane. It just so happened that Steve, which is Gamer Nexus, he ended up showing the HP Omen that was 6,200 euros, and I'm pretty sure he blasted it, because I would imagine it's not going to be the greatest. So let's go ahead and go to the browser mode, and we'll take a look at this P650 SS or the 650 watt 80 silver. So we can definitely state our opinions once we see this. And I will open this up and we'll start our search here. So the P6 SS, and now we're going to go into the stream browser here. Yep, there we go, perfect. If you guys have any trouble seeing it, feel free to let me know, and I will certainly adjust it. There we go, beautiful. All right, so B650 SS. What's up, Zay? Good to see you. Okay, so it's an 80 plus silver power supply, supports up to ATX 3. So that means it does have like a 12 volt high power port. More than likely, you're not going to use it when something of this size. 120 millimeter fluid dynamic fan, that's always good. Flat cable design. Power single 12 volt rail. And it does come with a 3-year warranty. I would go 750 watt for his build because you can upgrade. That's true. That would make a bit more sense if you can. If you have a little bit more extra money, you can extend it. You can get the 750. Personally, to me, I feel like, yeah, 750 is like a good baseline. What's up, White Strut? Hopefully I said it right. So it's a 80 plus silver, which is efficiency wise. They have 4 different levels now when it comes to efficiency. They also have 80 plus bronze, silver, gold, platinum. There's actually a 5th one. I forget what the 5th one is. It's a weird one, but it's a new rating that they have for it. I would have to look it up. So again, ATX 3, ATX 3.1, 120, and let's go back and see what the price difference between the two are. See if they have a 750 watt version. So let's go ahead and go to the shop here, and let's see, micro less. Let's see, here it is, like a white one, right? This is what you're looking for. So we can click that. So what do you think is better for running AI models on a budget? A maxed out Mac or a maxed out PC for around 10K? Now, to be honest, I'd say the better option is always going to be like the PC size. PC side, because if you run it on a Mac, it's going to run great, but it's not going to run as well as if you have a dedicated like GPU source. So I would say, to answer your question, I would say it would certainly be better to run LLMs on a like custom PC. Okay, so it's about 6329, and I'm curious to see if they got a 750 watt model. So let's see. Let's find it. 750 watt Gigabyte. Let's see if they got it. Wait. Because I know it seems like it's kind of like a limited one. Let's try copying this. They have to have a 750 for sure. And we'll find it. So that's around... Okay, so I guess the 750, it's black. There's going to be an ice edition, so we'll go into the website and take a look and see if we can find a better one for you. So I have a question that some people have is a 1080p monitor and the system resolution also set at 1080p. But the live streams at 1440p doesn't really give better quality. I mean, it can, but now this all depends on the type of system that you're also running or the type of stream that you're running. That's actually a great question. It improves the resolution somewhat. You can see it's better a little bit, not by like a whole lot, not like a 4K resolution type of stream, just say. But it can help. And say if you're running, because I've done this before, I kind of experimented with it, and it seemed like it didn't do as well because many people are running 1080p. So my suggestion is, if you do plan to run a stream, I would suggest just go in 1080p, because the majority of people are either going to be watching on a 1080p or expecting 1080p out of your video, or they're going to be watching on their phone where it's not going to really be as noticeable. So 850 watt would be good budget. Yes. Next thing, you know, Takuma will recommend 1000 watts. I am looking to build a PC in the near future. I am getting the Ryzen 7 9800 X3D. You mean processor? And for the card, you're getting a Radeon 9070 XT. Speaking if PSU, would 750 be enough, or should I shell out for 1000 watts? Now, personally to me, that's a great question on Dead Arrow. Personally to me, I feel that it's much better to get up to 1000 watt power supply at that point. You also have to add an addition, which is a good point Takuma also brought up. And usually I recommend this too. It's much better to get more wattage if you can. Reason being is because, first off, your power supply is the most important and detrimental part when it comes to your PC build. If you don't have a decent enough power supply, your PC is just not going to work. So it's good to dish out a little bit of extra money on a power supply, because then it's going to give you the longevity and it's reliable. It won't ever really give you anything. It won't really give you a problem to where when you turn on your PC that it doesn't turn on. So for something like this, I would recommend 1000 watt power supply. Also, to add, if you're going to add other things, like if you add more RAM, or if you're going to add, say, more RGBs, or if you're going to add an NVMe, and it's just going to take a bit more power to do so. So it's much better to go up to 1000 watts for that build, certainly. So titanium is the new Radeon. Is it? Yeah, so that's what it was, titanium. Because I remember platinum and titanium. That's a good point, LSG. I'm glad you brought it up. Undead Arrow would go to 1000. Yes. Yes, I am. I am a married man. So, but that, well, yes, 850 watts is okay. When the money is there for that, don't save it. What's up, Gaming 77? Undead Arrow, okay. I'm glad that we could help you out. Feel free to ask any more questions. We'll certainly still look for a ICE power supply. How's that sound? We'll find you a better one. ICE Gigabyte Nice PSU. So I give 200 extra watts extra into PSU, and what the GPU makers do recommend. That's true. A lot of these GPUs, again, they're getting a bit more power hungry. Same with the CPUs. Even CPUs are more power hungry than they ever are. Like for example, that like the AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D takes at least 170 watts. Plus it takes power when it's connected to the board. So same thing when it comes to the GPU. That takes quite a power. For that, 350 to about 375. Like when it comes to the 9070 XT. So let's take a look. So we're going into Gigabyte's power supplies. And this is the first one that came up. We'll go back here and let's go to the browser so I can show you what we're looking at here. So that's Platinum. I know Platinum's a bit more. And I know you specifically want to get... The odd thing is they don't go by color. So if you're looking for silver... So they only have the 650. Okay, how about gold? So for gold, they do have 850 right here. It's the UD850GM. So it's a little bit more power efficient, which is it's at gold. And this certainly seems like a much better power supply. Oh, right off the bat, right here, let me bring it up so you guys can see it. It does feature the 100% Japanese capacitors, which is what you're looking for. Same hydraulic bearing, thermal solution, and this is ATX 3.1 and PCI Gen 5. This one's much better. I would say go for this one if you can. Now, the price difference, we can take a look at it and we'll see. So this is going to be my first build in like 20 years. I built some back when I was younger, but stepped away from it. So I'm a little out of touch with newer components. I'll tell you what, on that era, since it's been 20 years, I'll tell you what. When you build a PC now, it's going to be amazingly just much more easier compared to what it was 20 years ago. Everything will really just connect. It's much more, it's less cabling to each other. It's more just focusing on power supply connections more than anything, because you don't really have to really put any connections to drives or what else. It's changed quite a bit for 20 years, but once you build it, you're going to be like, man, it's so much easier and nicer. It requires less tools because everything is practically like toolless now when it comes to like motherboards and everything. It's nice. So you found the P850W. Okay, let me try. So that's what we'll do. The biggest question in my country is if a PC runs 12 hours a day, power supply is 550 watts and medium usage in unit, please. Okay, so let's take a look here. We're gonna look for the pricing, and we'll look up Takuma's too, because he found a P850 watt. So, pricing wise, it might give me a hard time because I'm not sure if they do make it for the US, because some specific parts might be in another region. So let's try going to the shopping side here. See if we can find it. Okay, so here's one by ProVantage. So it's almost like double the price for this one. So let's look at Takuma's here. P850 AORUS Elite. P850 watt. I've been watching some videos about it, and recently it seems so much easier. Absolutely. I have like a lot of guides on it too, so definitely feel free to check it out, especially if you're doing like a 9800 X3D build. If you look up that build, I'm pretty specific on that one. If you saw the earlier build this year, That one I'm not as specific with it. So this one's a decent one. Actually, this one might be definitely better priced. Seeing the specifications wise. So we're gonna go over here to the shopping size. It's honestly about the same, which is pretty crazy. And the P850. Platinum. That's a nice one too. Like, if you could get it for a deal like that, that's a really good deal, actually. Gigabyte AORUS Elite Platinum. It's 850 watt power supply for 140. But this is also in USD. So this is, I think it's in USD. I could be wrong. I think it's in euros, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's in USD because it has a dollar sign. Reason why I question it is because the size is EU plug 220 volts. Yeah, so this one would be a great choice if you can get it. Tyler Burgess says, is the Trident 5 Neo DDR5 RAM 256 gigabytes of RAM compatible with the new MSI X870E godlike motherboard? Oh, certainly. It will certainly be compatible with it, without a doubt. I don't see that there should be any issues with it. The most you're probably going to have to do is make sure to update the BIOS. If you're not sure how to update the BIOS, I did recently come out with a video where you can see that, how to do so. More than likely, you'll have compatibility with it. It will certainly work with your PC. So far from what I'm seeing here, you do have two options. You have either the UD850 GM, or you have Gigabyte's AORUS Elite Platinum. Again, this is I just pulled the model number, which is going to be the Elite P850W. The Neo DDR, yes, absolutely. No problem, Tyler. So hopefully that helped you out, like for who's looking for the power supply. I know that's it can be quite crazy when looking for a power supply, especially if you're looking for a white one. I know that's not really easy, but that's just Gigabyte specific. If you don't mind going other brands and looking at other brands that have white PSUs, I get it. But if you're like going full out Gigabyte, I give it to you. That takes a lot of patience to really get all the parts coordinated and well together. Because most people, when they build the PC, they'll have a mix of parts. Just like they'll have like MSI, ASUS, Gigabyte, they'll have everything in there. Because you just want to get that PC build done and ready with. So what I'm curious about too is hopefully AMD does have an announcement when it comes to CES 2026. I know it's a big rumor. We've all discussed it. AMD, it's a very high possibility that they could be releasing a high-end GPU. It's highly rumored. But from what I know, the announcement or AMD's press conference is going to, or keynote, I should say, AMD's keynote should be on January 5th. It is January 5th. I will definitely do my best to attend over there, and I will live stream it with you guys, and we could see and hope that they do release a GPU. I'm sure everyone would go crazy if they did. I would love to see what it would feature, and I'm sure that everybody out there would love a competitor, especially something up against like a RTX 5090. But AMD's AMD, so I know some of you know exactly what that means, because sometimes they fail to strike at an opportunity when it's there, especially they have such a lengthy period. Plus Nvidia is not releasing supers, which is even more insane. But the crazy part is, because it almost shows you like how much confidence Gigabyte has. It's like referring back to the whole tortoise and the hare analogy, when you have Nvidia, which is practically just like the hare, which is like the rabbit, and just constantly just running laps around AMD. And then eventually it takes a rest and just kicks back and be like, well, I can just chill out now. AMD's not going to do anything. And hopefully AMD really does take this opportunity to really kick it up to high gear and really push for a GPU. But speculation-wise, there's been all kinds of things about it. I shared my thoughts of, or not really my thoughts, but like what is rumored, the thoughts that's going on around in the whole tech community, that it's more than likely going to have like about like originally it has like 96 ray tracing units, is it, for them, for because they count their ray tracing cores a bit different, but it's practically like an equivalent of like say 12,000 to Nvidia's. So it still didn't match up quite to like say RTX 5090, which is at like 21,000. But it, again, these are speculation. Maybe that they have something much more powerful up their sleeve, but again, this is due time. So the 9070 XT gives out the 5070 a run for its money, plus it's way cheaper. I agree. In fact, Kavari, I did spoke on behalf of like this whole thing when it comes to AMD. If I was comparing all the GPUs that I've seen for this year compared to the RTX 5070 to the RTX 5090, the RTX 9070 XT, the 9070 XT out of all of them has actually been the most impressive. And on top of it, when benching it and testing it up against like certain games, it could run 1440p like with no problem. So if you're a 1440p gamer or 1080p gamer, that's like the perfect GPU for it, because it's the best when it comes to pricing, and it's also the best when it comes to gaming. And it's also very close, not just to the RTX 5070, but it's also very closely competitive with the RTX 5070 Ti. So it's quite the GPU, and I'm really impressed with it, I have to say, for AMD. And the drivers had just been stellar compared to what they were like just a couple of years ago. It's crazy how much more AMD has evolved on that side. And it's a shame, because if they just had it together like just a couple of years ago, they could have been a bit more competitive. But they chose not to really, I don't know what they did. They didn't really push for it. They didn't really push their GPUs as hard as they should have. So, thank you. So, is the AI frames that give the 5090 higher frame rates? Absolutely. It's certainly, yes. Takuma has brought it up. It's called frame generation. It's also practically through the 50 series line. It's also in the 40 series line, believe it or not. But on specific models, only the RTX 4090 has it built in. And ray tracing is a gimmick that NVIDIA uses to sell overpriced GPUs. The average gamers doesn't need ray tracing. Sure, that's a lot of people feel that way, but unfortunately you have developers like Borderlands 4 saying that ray tracing needs to be enabled, or to saying you need to at least, why don't you have a RTX 5090 in your rig? They have that type of attitude. So it's pretty funny on that end, but I don't think they're going to get a lot of support for that. So my 9070 non-XT would give the 5070 a run for its money. I 100% agree. The 9070 non-X, which is the 9070, just the base, is actually a great great GPU just as well. Also, I do want to bring up something too, which is pretty funny. Which is pretty funny here. Oh man, I am so mad at the devs at Borderlands over on how they did this. I know, it's a shame, right? And you know what's even more crazy? This was announced yesterday. I don't know if anyone got to see this announcement, which is pretty insane. And the announcement was, this, it doesn't really pertain on the PC side, but it does kind of pertain on the hardware side, which is the fact that they decided, Microsoft Xbox, decided to push up the price tag on all their Xboxes. So from Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, their 2 terabyte version of Xbox Series X is all up. So the regular Series X, just to give you an idea, it's about $650 now. PS5 has went up in price, which is again at $550. So instead of these prices dropping when it comes to console gaming, it's actually increased, which for them is actually kind of like a bit of delay, because for us in the PC world at least, it's increased like since the beginning of the year, since Nvidia decided to release their GPU. But what do you guys think of that? What do you think about the price increases instead of price decreases? But in a way, it doesn't make sense to me either, because the hardware, again, it's pretty dated at this time. Like considering like it's running on practically equivalent of like an RX 6800. So, thoughts of on FSR4. FSR4 is quite amazing. It's excellent. It definitely needs to be a bit more widespread. I know Battlefield 6 will certainly have it. I think the only reason, gamers would enable ray tracing if they're into taking nice. So I can't imagine what you guys would think of path tracing. What are your thoughts of that? Is Microsoft trying to kill their console part? It seems like it. It seems like that they are. And the wild part is that even though Microsoft is really pushing to do that, it's almost like it makes you question, are they really going to come out with another console? But there's rumors saying that they're working on another one. And you know what the price is for the upcoming next generation Xbox console? Which is pretty insane. It's like buying a pre-built PC almost. So for the standard, and the funny thing is, you could go online and look this up too, which is pretty funny, is people will try to justify this. And apparently the leaked pricing is going to start at $1,000 for an Xbox. And people will still argue with you saying, well, it's still cheaper than getting a PC. That's everyone's rebuttal when it comes to it. It's still cheaper than buying a PC if you buy the console. And again, there's so much more when you get a console. You have to pay for a pass to get on to Xbox. You have to get Game Pass in order to enjoy it, and you also have to be able to get like extra accessories. You have to get storage, and there's so much more when you do buy things for consoles. So, Raymond says, what's up, man? How are you doing? What's your monitor size? So this monitor, both monitors, in fact, that you see here, I'm a big ultra-wide fan. So every monitor that I currently have is 34 inches. I do have one plan coming in because I do want to do a bit more 4K testing. And once that monitor comes in, that one should be either a 27 inch or a 32 inch that's coming in. So I heard that $700. What? It's even worse. Maybe Microsoft is killing Xbox and bringing up the handheld version. So I blame the game developers for not optimizing their games, which is why consumers are being forced to buy these ridiculous overpriced video cards. Yes, that is the point. That's right, Gabari. I 100% agree with this. This is the problem, that these game developers give such little headroom to most people out there that really don't have, say, RTX 5090. Most people, if you look at Steam survey says a majority of people are still running on something like they're still running on a 1060, I think they are, like a good majority of people, which we could pull up the numbers to see exactly what they are, but there's still people out there with low spec PCs that still are trying to game. But unfortunately, anybody with a GTX card, that they are going to stop supporting it soon. So they are going to force everybody into the RTX side. So the minimum GPU to have soon will be a RTX 20 series. That's not true. I built my PC, which I'm exactly, real man. It's definitely possible. You could easily, like, if you really break down your PC. I even looked up parts together to build up a PC, and I got it down to like $850. So it's certainly possible. You could build it cheaper than the Xbox if you really wanted to. So, hey Chris, I have edited a new logo for your YouTube channel. How can I send it to you? You can send it, just send it to my Gmail. Or go into, you can feel free to send it on Discord. It's, go down to the description box. I should have my contact info in there. But yeah, thanks. I would love to see it. My PC costs nearly 3,000 euros in total with a new monitor. That's actually a very realistic number. Like especially for those who are a PC enthusiast, I can see that happen. It's very easy to spend a lot of money on a PC, and it does become a bit of an addictive habit because you do want to keep building and building on top of it. And the funny thing is, even though you finish building your PC, and everyone who has a PC definitely knows this, you look at your PC and you're thinking, what else can I put in my PC to make it even better? So at the end, you're buying a console for $800, buying a 2TB drive for $250, buying a subscription for $70 for an internet server, ASUS, and social media. That's why I chose PC. Absolutely. It's just a very costly method of gaming, and it's funny. A lot of people don't realize it at first. Sure, at first they might take a loss when it comes to selling their console, but they know that they're going to make their money back when it comes to mainly from accessories, believe it or not. It's like from the accessories or from when people pay for the internet. That's where they get a lot of their profit from. They also get it from gaming companies, but because the margin has slimmed down, that in the holidays of this upcoming year, we're going to see a price increase of $80. But that's another argument that I would like to bring up is the fact that these games are $80, and I just hope that they're not the same $70 game that we're getting. In fact, I hope that they improve. But that's, again, wishful thinking. We all know that they're not going to be doing that. We all know that instead they're going to be focused on doing more of the same crazy circus show that they've been currently doing at these game development studios and still charge $80 for it. So my laptop has a GTX 1650, and that's the reason I am building a PC. My build I am planning is close to a 2K for the build, no monitor. That's not too bad. But I mean, you do have very decent specifications. You have a 9800 X3D on the list I see, and again, you picked excellent parts when it comes to your build. It's gonna feel great once you're on a desktop PC, because I'm sure you feel the same way at times when you're gaming on your laptop. You feel like, man, it's just nicer to just have like a larger desktop PC. Just because you have so much power to run through everything, which is always nice. And I remember when the highest end video cards were like 500. Yeah, that's the crazy part. I know Undead Arrow knows this too. Again, the high end cards. I remember my high end card, one of the first ones I had, was an XFX. This was NVIDIA XFX. It was a 6800, and that was like their high end, and it was like the first like almost like liquid cooled or vapor cooled, really it was. And but obviously XFX was the first ones to leave NVIDIA, and then EVGA was like the ones that left NVIDIA right after. And it's been already 3 years that they've been out of NVIDIA. It's pretty crazy that they're not around as they used to be. That their GPUs used to be so wonderful. So Takuma says, at the end, I spent $5,000 for my PC. My friends laugh at me because I could spend 5 times more on a console. But what they don't know is you can do anything on the PC. And you know what, Takuma? The funny thing is that $5,000 PC is when they're upgrading to the next console and doing the same thing all over again, they're practically doing it again. And you didn't have to upgrade your PC, which is the funniest part. Mine cost that much because I like high-end motherboards and parts. Again, that's when you're an enthusiast, you get addicted and you just want to get top-of-the-line stuff. You just really love the beauty of like PC components. It's just you just love the performance. That's what you're looking for. That performance. I get it. Especially when you have a PC, you're like, man, how far? It's like almost like you're hooking up your, like you get a car that you want to tune. It's just like that. You want to keep tuning that car until it gets better and better and faster. So now it reverses all now looking like a PC. It's pretty crazy. I wanted to future proof it for a while. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'll definitely check it out. Dude, I remember that card. Oh, you remember it? You remember that card? It was slightly bigger than the 56. Yeah, absolutely. Let's find it. It's funny. It was a wonderful card. I thought, man, this is such a high-end card. It's so amazing. My first high-end card was the GTX 680 SoC from Gigabyte. At a technical, interesting card with 7 90mm fans on the side. Wild times. Yeah, it's just so crazy to see like how PCs have really evolved since then. And we'll take a look at Takuma's card because I'm curious about that one too. So we'll go back into the browser here, and let's see, XFX, 6800. It's showing, let me put GeForce. It's funny because now XFX is with AMD. Here it is. It looks something like this. Where is it? Mine's had like kind of more of a, yeah, like this one. This is like the one I had. Right there. Isn't it wild though to see like XFX like how they used to be like back in the day? Like it just used to be how they were part of NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is not focused. Absolutely, I agree. Currently, NVIDIA is focused on AI. It's not like what they were once before. And one of my biggest hopes was that I was hoping that if the NVIDIA Intel combo does come back to life, just imagine if they brought M-Force back. And I know you guys know this. The M-Force motherboards, they were just monsters at the time. Like everybody, like if you had to build a PC, you want an M-Force board. Is that... So, let's see. The GTX 680. SoC. Oh man, that is wild looking. That's pretty crazy. Man, isn't that crazy? Like how they had a design like this, have the fans on the side. That is amazing, though. So this is what you had, Takuma. If I remember, that card was into the 3D. Yes, yeah, you were correct on that arrow. That was the card for that. But yeah, XFX was like amazing at its time. And then, as I was saying, like the M-Force boards, they were like this. M-Force 4 motherboard. Like if you had, here goes one. Like this is back then when the SLI and Crossfire was like big, and we called them the drone. Here it is. Yes, it's funny. I just bringing that up. Let me go back here. I'm trying to get a good picture of it because I want to zoom in on it. Here's an MSI board, and take a look at, like, even the website looks like it's like something from back in the day, right? Oh, the pictures won't load up now though. It's definitely an older website. That breaks. Yeah, it does, right? Why buy one card when you can buy two? Yeah. You know what's funny? I'm surprised NVIDIA's not like starting to like force that. I want to be surprised if they come up with like SLI version 2. And let's see. I want to get a decent picture. Oh, here we go. A fatality board. Here it is. Oh, great. Our system has changed. Oh, look, it's still a new egg. Here we go. It's crazy too, because it's like all these pictures they don't want to load up. It's like almost like being archived. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Let's just go on eBay. eBay will definitely have it. There we go. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. So I've been into gaming PC. It's I've been into it for a long time actually. Since, let me see. I would have to say it's been like 30 years. That's pretty insane, right? To think about, time goes by like at least 30 years. Because I first got into it because I was our PC was like a pre-built PC, obviously, when I first got into it, because I was just a kid. And it was a Sony Vaio, and they made like excellent PCs at the time. It was like called the Sony Vaio Entertainment System, and I remember gaming on it as a kid. I was like, man, this is pretty dope. Like compared to like how it was like into consoles, but of course at the time I think it was PlayStation and Nintendo 64 was out, but then it seemed like with PCs, you could just like download any type of game you wanted to play. And I would play games like Doom, and there was like so many different games that were similar to like Doom. There was a game called Descent that I really enjoyed, which was like very futuristic compared to playing something like a 64 or PlayStation. It was wild times. Is it even possible to run a dual modern GPU for gaming? Not really. I mean, if you're running a game like on two monitors, but again, that's kind of like pointless. So like if you were able to do that, it just wouldn't make any sense, and it's much more of a heavier load on top of it. So, but even like when they did have the whole SLI, like when you were able to connect two GPUs. It wasn't like that much of a great performance. You would think you could double your VRAM and everything, but it doesn't do that. It's just like it still focuses on like a primary card. I heard the Intel Arc B580 is the cheapest and the best 1080. I agree. Intel Arc does make the cheapest GPU, certainly. If you don't play like really heavy games, like if you're more like a Fortnite player or more of a battle royale type of player, or even like a Counter-Strike 2 type of player, Intel would work perfectly fine, to be honest. My first PC part that broke and I could not reparate was the ASUS ROG RTX 2080 Ti Matrix. I was so mad that I couldn't get a replacement, so I got the money back and got the Lightning Z from MSI, which was also dead on RF. Oh, really? Oh, man, those were times where you probably were super pissed. Honestly, PC gamers can't complain. After all, we do have torrents. Yeah, it's the funny thing is, again, when you have a PC, you're not just limited to games. You just have you have like a whole open world to so many different possibilities. Compared to like when you go into when you go into a console, to where you're pretty much locked into one system. Like, isn't it pretty crazy? For example, and I know everybody knows this too, or if you don't know, is that if you have a Nintendo Switch 2 and you decided to, you wanted to homebrew it, you just wanted to homebrew your Nintendo Switch 2, and for some reason, say your Nintendo Switch 2 has an update, and when your Nintendo Switch 2 updates, you go to turn on your Nintendo Switch 2, and now it does not power on, and you're wondering what exactly happened. Why is it not turning on? And it's because Nintendo Switch, or not Nintendo Switch, but Nintendo has in its EULA, its end user agreement, that if you do decide to customize or homebrew your Nintendo Switch 2, they have every right to brick your Nintendo Switch 2, which is complete BS, especially that you spent your money on the system, so it should be yours to own. But according to Nintendo, you don't technically really own the system, because then why are you not able to homebrew on it? So my first PC part was a 5060 Ti, 16 gigabytes of VRAM, and a Ryzen 5 7600. So congratulations on that. Everybody got to congratulate Ryujin for that, because welcome to the whole PC world. I'm sure it's been a game changer so far. The RAM issues was very bad at the time when the RTX 2080 Ti came out. Yes, I remember that. I also had a 2080 Ti. I had the MSI Ventus 2080 Ti, and it seemed like it was a bit more of a problematic GPU than actually being a good one. AMD X2 GPUs were quite too. Repaired a few as they did have a problem with heat, so reflow was quite a thing. So, what do you think of the GPU? I think it's great. I'm excited for you, and I'm sure everybody here is excited for you just as well. But that combination, definitely a great combination to start off with, especially if you're using it for gaming. That's going to be a good choice to begin with. And the good thing is, if you ever want to upgrade your hardware, you obviously can. Like, if you ever get the money to, say, like, purchase a 7800X, or you choose to get a 9800X3D, you can choose to upgrade it. You're not stuck with the same hardware. So you always have the flexibility when it comes to PC building. So, on your birthday, well, happy early birthday. I'm hoping that you get everything that you wish for, especially on your birthday. Every RTX card has its generational flaws. 100% agree. It seems that it's always a consistent issue when it comes to it. Now, I'm thinking the issues that I had. I had a card before the 1080. Or, no, the 980. I think it was the 780. I think it was either the 780 or 770. When it came to NVIDIA, I remember that around the same time when Arkham Asylum was released, it seemed like the card just gave constant issues, like playing with Batman, not Arkham Asylum, but Arkham Knight. Remember how much of a nightmare that game was? That game got it got hit hard with like all kinds of negative feedback, because it did not play well, even with the newest RTX card. So there was like constant blaming between Rocksteady and NVIDIA for this issue. But it turns out it was Rocksteady also had part of blame of it, and then it was also NVIDIA's fault. But it took almost I think a month for it to resolve. So looking back at it now, what news do you have to share? Oh, so I'd say the news that I gotta say is the biggest things is going to be on the AMD side, which is AMD may be coming out with a high-end GPU. If they do, we won't know about it till the beginning of CES. Certainly waiting on to the return of certain. Besides, but if I'm guessing on what Kuma's talking about, I don't have to bring it up. But last night we had a special stream, which was based on comparing what the iPhone had to offer, the new iPhone, if anybody's interested in it. But again, that's a topic that doesn't have to be brought up into today's live if you don't want to. You could also bring it up if you do have questions about it, because currently I have it sitting and I'm going to be running tests on it. Definitely feels a lot cheaper compared to its predecessor, I have to say, for the most part. But news-wise, I gotta say, when it comes to AMD, they're expected to come out with a high-end GPU. NVIDIA and Intel are going to be combined. Obviously, there's going to be some refresh motherboards coming out sometime soon, which is going to be quite exciting. Refresh boards are definitely pointing towards that a new processor will be sometime released soon. So maybe AMD will surprise us. Maybe they will also not only have a GPU to announce, but maybe they can announce even the new Ryzen 10,000 series. But I wouldn't expect them to really honestly announce it till towards the end of the year of next year. What's up, Wasabi? Sorry for being late. been a long week, and I woke up early this morning, and I ended up crushing again on the bed. That's all good, Wasabi. We're all glad that you're here. It's so far everything's been great. We were actually just talking about AMD and Nvidia, and we were just talking about some throwbacks that we had when it came to different motherboards, different GPUs we had. Pretty much like retroware at this point. And it's funny because we were looking up NVIDIA M-Force boards, and every time we would click on an image, it would seem like the website was either not working anymore, or they moved the page, or it didn't exist. And so the only image I could really click on was a one on eBay, which is this one here, which actually, let's talk about it, like the older technology real quick. I must say the Sapphire boards are very price competitive. B850, yes, that's also something I meant to bring up too, is the Sapphire boards. That's something very tempting to look at, I gotta say. But if you were part of this experience of back in the day, like where this was your GPU, back then this was like high-end tech, which was PCI Express. The first, you see how it's like right there, PCI Express. That was like the big thing. Because before, you would have to have everything connected to these PCI Express cards too. Like your Wi-Fi, or if you had a sound card, because sound cards were big back then. And same thing when it came to, let's see, they had these smaller ones too. Usually that would be like where your Wi-Fi would sit on. I think AMD's new high-end GPUs will be with, at far better pricing. I want to give it a set too. I get it. I feel like it's going to be a lot more competitive than everybody thinks. I think because we haven't seen the display from AMD like really push their GPUs like that. But hopefully they do. Because again, NVIDIA is so wrapped around their AI-focused innovation, or their AI world, that they completely almost like are forgetting about the gamers. But we'll see like how much of their focus really goes into CES. But I guarantee you, like NVIDIA will certainly talk about a lot of AI. Just like their last presentation when we were there just earlier this year, we were all excited for the RTX 50 series, especially that they announced that the 5070 would be just as powerful as the RTX 4090. But unfortunately, that did not happen after like testing. That did not happen at all. So let's take a look at Sapphire motherboards, in fact, because that is exciting. Because right now they have up to a B850, which is their Nitro Plus. I would love for them to come out with like an X870 board. Would be really nice if they did. So can't wait to see you in the upcoming season of JJK. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm actually looking forward to that. Has anyone actually, speaking of, like, just going off topic here, has anyone seen the new Demon Slayer Infinity Castle? I gotta say, if you did, that was an excellent movie. Looking forward to the next two. That's all I gotta say. I won't say any spoilers, but it was definitely worth going to see. It actually broke a U.S. record, believe it or not, like for anime records since the first Pokemon movie. But back in the day, when my father was going to the store to watch hard drives and 1 terabytes, they were costing like $450. But then looking for a 500 gigabytes with two 250 gigabyte hard drives for like half the price. Good memories. Absolutely. I remember those days. Remember when it was important to get an optical drive? Like you had to get an optical drive. Like one that you could burn CDs with or burn DVDs with. And we even went as far as up to Blu-ray. But I never used it. That was the crazy part. I never used Blu-ray to burn. Maybe 2 times, I think. And that was it. And we were all amazed about how much storage you can have. Like when you store your music, or when you can use it as a data disk. So next week, I will take another step closer to my white build, and I have an expensive one. I will buy this 5070 Ti. Haven't decided yet on which between the Gigabyte Arrow or the Eagle. That's a tough choice. That's 100% a tough choice. Looking at my ASUS account, I have 12 motherboards registered, going back years, and that's not all of them. Never had a problem with them. Yeah, honestly, I haven't really had an issue. I only had an issue with one ASUS board, and that was with the B6. No, not B. It was the X. I'm saying X2, the Z690. I had an issue with the Z690, and that was because of the capacitor issue. That it was, or it wasn't the capacitor. What was it? It was, I'm trying to remember what it was. I remember it was one of the terminals that were like flipped backwards, practically on the motherboard, and I had to send it in because like 2 or 3 days after the build, the board ended up shorting. So I sent it back to ASUS. At first, they didn't want to do anything about it and tried to blame me for it. They said that you bent the CPU sockets. I was like, no, I didn't. So they ended up replacing the board, and they ended up refunding my money back too, like for the shipping and everything too, and they apologized. So that was good. But since then, I didn't have issues with that board. It was like excellent. But that was the only issue I had with the ASUS, was that one. So, yeah, burning the CDs and DVDs and feeling like a G. Yeah, remember just like that, everybody would go into, everybody would use, what was it? Napster. Napster was the big thing back then, or LimeWire was big. There was another one that people used too. There was quite a few of them out there. I remember going, I think right after Napster, there was a thing called AIM. It was like called Aimer or AIM. And then they had this other one, iMesh. And then they had this other one, which was a LimeWire. And it just kept going on and on. So this motherboard's quite impressive. And this would certainly do for a lot of people out there. Nitro, yes. Nitro was the software to do it. It was either that or, was it Roxio was the other one? You see why I changed from ASUS. So I could see why, Takuma. That makes sense. I could see why people are not happy about it. But yeah, it's like, but with any other company, they have to listen to input. They got to listen to their customer base. As long as if they do, just keep the people happy and they will continue purchasing your product. Just like I'm pretty sure that people who purchased Borderlands 4, especially on a system that the developers felt that were inferior at the time, now are going to regret it next time they do try to develop a game, because now they're going to have less buyers for the next game. So Napster started, yeah, BearShare, that was it. BearShare. I forgot all about BearShare. Yeah, Roxio was good. See, Roxio was really good too. I liked using like their movie maker and everything too. Speaking of which, this motherboard I wanted to share with you guys is the B850 Nitro Plus motherboard. It's Sapphire Nitro Plus, which is their like high end currently. This one's more their like more compact board. Now this features the latest AM5, obviously, and it does have 12 plus 2. This is for the VRM practically when it comes to it, the smart power supply. And most people will not end up using all of them like that. And the dual M.2 drives it does also feature, which is also nice. And it features up to Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5. I'm sure they have a larger version of this, but this is just their M size board. So AM5 APUs when I mean Ryzen 9000 series APUs. Do you think back connectors is going to gain a lot more traction on boards? I think they will. I think, personally to me, I think what currently is happening is because a lot of people, not really a lot of people, but a lot of these companies, they're failing to really market it out. It's funny to think about because when I do contact like brands and I'm trying to get things in, like getting in products, they don't mention it. And it always slips my mind about getting like a BTF style type of motherboard. And but speaking of which, I gotta keep that in mind. I gotta remember. I gotta write it down so that way when I do talk to any of these brands, I can certainly request for it, because the problem is they always talk about different products. So they'll say like, well, we do have this. Do you want to try this out, or do we have this? Do you want to try this out? And this is where the problem is because they fail to market it. They need to market it more, and I think it will see success. It doesn't get marketed enough. I think that's where the problem is. They do show it, people do know it, but they don't push it enough to where people really remember it. And if they could just push it out to where people remember it, I think it would definitely gain a lot of traction. Especially with this new Corsair case, which is amazingly dope, where it's like triple chambered, and it's BTF friendly. It would be a nice addition, especially into the PC building, because it makes it a lot easier for new PC builders to connect. They don't have to worry about connecting to the front and trying to route everything nicely. Now it's just going to be a lot easier to route everything in the back. Hopefully it doesn't look like a bird's nest in the back. But so I changed my mind with ASUS because of the mess with their policy and the BIOS drivers. Yeah, that did happen too. That happened. What was it? That happened like about a couple years ago when that happened. Like when they had that beta driver. I think, what motherboard was that? Because I do remember it. They were telling people to download the beta driver and it would fix their issue. But the problem with their beta driver, what the one Kakuma is talking about, was at the time they said if you download this beta driver, that they're not held responsible if anything goes wrong with the beta, and people were running into problems. So it was ASUS's way of saying, well, it's not our problem. You did download the beta version, so that was your choice to download it. You could have waited for the stable version. But the beta version was out for a little while before they actually decided to push out a stable version for it to work correctly. But I forget what the reason was. What was the cause for? So I think the concept is amazing. Will bring more longevity to boards, less stress on connectors, absolutely. And also you get way better airflow. Just imagine how much more airflow you would get in your PC. Just directly on the components, instead of any type of interference such as wires in the way, or if you get anything like anything that really sticks out in the front of the motherboard will be clear of obstruction, so you can get straight airflow through the PC. Hi guys, what motherboard would you use for a 9800 X3D just for the top gaming and top audio performance? Not interested in RGBs, USB, Wi-Fi, or all these extra unnecessary options. So if you're not interested in that, like if you're trying to find the motherboard for a 9800 X3D, usually I highly recommend either getting the two. Either get a B850, or you can go at X870E. Now, X870E is much more, of course, a enthusiast side, but you do get better components, such as you get better connectivity when it comes to internet. You get 5 gigabits of Ethernet, or you get more USB 4 ports versus a B850, where you don't get, you won't have as much of those type of features, but it will take full advantage and utilization of the 9800 X3D. Now, if you're looking for something that is less RGB, you can certainly get something like a, say, this is just off the top of my head, which is the ASUS TUF X870E board, where it doesn't really have RGBs, but it also fits budget-wise. Another one is also AORUS Elite is also a great motherboard to also take a look at. And also they do have the MSI versions, which is like the Tomahawk, is also pretty decent as well. So the X670E messes with the 7800 X3D CPUs burning up. And also to stay, I keep warning everybody about it, but stay away from the Tai Chi boards. The Tai Chi boards from excuse me for a minute, because now I'm thinking Taiwanese for a minute. But the, what's it called? Ace Rock. So you want to stay away from ASRock Taichi boards, especially with the 9800X3D. We've had a user that's installed a CPU in it twice. It failed twice, and now they're on their third board and a third processor. So stay away from that, I will say for certain. And ASRock brought up the beta versions and say that you would void your warranty when something goes wrong. Yes, exactly. And that was the problem. So what about, just mentioning it, ASRock X, yes, like, they are excellent. I do enjoy their boards a lot. I like that. You see this? You gotta love it. Let me go back into the setting. Just like this. This is hilarious. Yes, that's what you want to stay away from currently. Especially with the 9800X3D. That's like kryptonite to those boards right now. Especially the Taichi boards. Yeah, it was a little behind, sorry. No, it's all good. Yeah, there's like a little bit of lag. I should increase the latency for the videos for sure. But that's hilarious. Yes. We all feel that same we all feel that same way. It's pretty crazy because ASRock, I thought they were doing better. I was thinking maybe do like some sort of PC build like with them. Maybe do some sort of like custom build, but man, they just like to prove people wrong. They just said, you know what? Let's F this up some way. They certainly did on that side. But I would say still stick with, you could even go Nitro. In fact, the Nitro B850 is actually a good choice too. If you're looking forward to, if you don't mind the RGBs, I don't think it really has that many RGBs, if I'm not mistaken, looking at it. I'm really curious. I can't attest for it just quite yet. I have to get one of these motherboards in to really know how it is. And thank you for the info, guys. My almost 10-year-old PC with a 9080 Ti just cooked. So it's a time for me to upgrade. And I just realized everything is so more. Oh, yes. So from the 980 Ti. So that's like the era back when Cooler Master had like their PC cases. Was your PC a custom build to Alexis? As currently, that was like at the time was like the Cooler Master half 932 cases. I had a PC build just like that, like where I had a 980. I'll probably go with the AORUS or the Strix. Good choice, both excellent choices. Way back when I decided to go away from ASUS and search for an X870E board, the ASRock Taichi was the first in stock, but I didn't buy it. That was you made a good move. It's a good thing you didn't buy it. ASRock be like, you can take someone from ASUS, but you can't take ASUS. That's funny. But I really would love to experiment with Sapphire. Let's see. They do have this one here, B850A. I would just love for them to have a X870E version. It would be really nice. I'm curious about the commercial side. Because commercially, right, if you were to build like a NAS system, it would be nice. Let's take a look. I'm just clicking. So ASUS Crosshairs are the best boards, expensive but the best. That's what I currently have right now. I have a ASUS Crosshair Hero X870E. It's actually been an excellent board. I haven't had any issues with it. The biggest complaint from people about the board was that they noticed that when they put in a NVMe that they lost PCI Express X16 down to X8. They lost power to the GPU. But unfortunately, that's across the board. And it's not just ASUS. It would be every other type of X870E board, including MSI, Gigabyte, any of those boards. If you occupy a lane to PCI Express 5, if you're using an NVMe, just know which lanes not to use. For example, on the Crosshair Hero, you want to avoid 2 and 3 lanes, 2 and 3. If you use them, then you can split the power on your GPU. I think it's pretty much the same on Gigabyte, and MSI I think is 3 and 4 if I'm not mistaken. But you want to avoid those ones to avoid any split of power. So, you know what you need? A bench table. That's, I've been thinking of that too. That's exactly what has been on my list, is getting a bench. I have to get a bench, so that way we can really run some PC parts here. I was close to buy one and then opted for the Gigabyte X870. Oh man. But yeah, I'm saying, but I feel like they're all great makers. And again, all manufacturers do run into their own type of problems. My biggest thing is I'm debating on now is if I want to go white or black. That's interesting. So you have to ask yourself what type of aesthetics that you have. How white do you want to go? Like, do you want to get like just not only a white PC, but like a white monitor? You could easily get like a white mouse and keyboard. That's not the hard part. But I know if you really care about that stuff, some people care about having all white everything. Or if you don't mind it as much, then you can certainly go ahead and go that route too as well. Like, you know what actually would go really well with an all-white build is the Samsung monitors, where they're the ultra wides, because they're usually all white. So same as mine, I use NVMe 1, 4, and 5. Absolutely. Yes. And if you go for all black, that's the most common one. Obviously, the cost when it comes to getting like an all black build will usually be the more cheaper option, because white builds are a bit more expensive, just because again you're paying for the color. But sometimes I can say, if you can catch them, they do go on sale. Like, for example, NZXT's H9 Flow case was only $90 at Best Buy, and it was all white. And again, you can find certain components for a lot cheaper. You could get like a CPU cooler like I have here. I actually have a white a CPU cooler, and that was actually on sale, which was the ASUS ROG CPU cooler. What was it? Now the name slipped in my mind, but I bought their CPU cooler. That was on sale. It was like $30 cheaper than the original. So I would really shop around and put all the parts together, and then figure out your budget, of course, and see which one would be the better deal for you. Yeah, no, I did not. In fact, I did not see their upcoming monitors. Truthfully, I might even do a hybrid, because I saw a ASUS Tough case that is black and white, and it looked really cool. And I don't know what to decide when I go to Micro Center. See, it's a good thing too, because you got a Micro Center near you. Most people don't have a Micro Center near them, and that's again where I got the CPU cooler from. And again, just definitely look around and see what type of parts that you have. Make sure to join in the Discord, and when you join in Discord, I'm sure all of us are going to definitely be willing to help you out on figuring out what type of components to find. And it's funny, and I'm sure Wasabi, I know Wasabi remembers, I know Takuma remembers, and if whoever else is in here also remembers, that when we actually went to Micro Center a couple weeks ago, it was like 2 to 3 weeks ago, we went with Ricky, and he practically had like a white and black build, and it came out pretty decent actually. And he calls it the zebra build because it's black and white. So he had a white case, and I think his motherboard was I think it's like more like of a silver color, and everything else was like he had like a couple black parts in it, but it came out actually really nice for the most part. So truthfully, I am about an hour from their first store in Columbus, Ohio. And you know what's funny? I did mention this to Micro Center. It's like, if you ever notice, for most people, Micro Center's like still quite a distance from home. They have to drive either 45 minutes to an hour away to get to their micro center, because they always put it in a like almost like too far from everybody, it seems. Because again, there's very few of those stores. I think across the US right now they have like 24 stores. I would think it is, and it's not many. But hopefully they continue to expand. I hope they even expand over into internationally. It'd be nice if they even expanded into Europe. It would be good for them. I think they would do great. ASUS shows a prototype with the PCIe Express with the X. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's I did see this like I think I did see this recently where ASUS showed this a prototype. And it's supposed to bring a lot more power to the card. It's going to be quite interesting if they do that, because then they're getting closer to pretty much like cableless usage. Yeah, that's not a bad drive, though it's pretty common for people to drive like an hour to go shopping. It seems like it for the most part. Even for us down here, located down in the Florida region, we have, it's like all the way in South Miami, the micro center. It's like far South Miami, and but at least it's accessible, which is nice. It just sucks for the people that are like way up north, like especially in the Orlando area, because they would have to drive very far for them. For them, that would be like more like of a, let's see, about like maybe 3.5 hour drive, about 3.5 to 4 hour drive for them. And for them, they're also wouldn't be as far to, well, it'd be quite the distance too, like for the Georgia location, which would be again like between 4 to 5 hours. So it would depend on which way they wanted to go get it. So I also live in rural Ohio too, though. Oh, I get it. Yeah. But that's not too bad though. I mean, at least I'm sure the traffic isn't as bad if it's in a rural area. It's not too congested. You could get directly there. And the good thing is that at least, how is the part stock? I have to ask about Micro Center there. Do you have everything that you need, or is it still hard to get certain PC parts? Well, I know you've been out of PC hardware buying recently. So when you go, or if you haven't seen it, just let us know how it is. I'm curious. I would have to drive it. It's the ASUS Swift PG279 still a good monitor, or is it way too old? That's actually still a decent monitor. It's funny because the PG279, I think of that one. Let me take a look at the specs for it real quick, because I think that was the one that Ricky ended up getting. 279. Let's see. Is it just the 279? No. Is it the Q or the E? Let's see. Now this is a rating. I want to go to the spec side. And you have a dot. Okay, perfect. That's perfect for you, Undead. So we'll go to the tech specs here. And we will go back to the browser. So right here, it's about 27 inches for the monitor, 16.9 to... No, it's not too old at all. A display port 1.2. But again, if you're gaming or using it for just usage, if you're not using it for like anything too crazy, I feel it's not too dated. And it all depends on the type of usage you want to also use it for as well. Are you trying to get... what is the whole purpose you have behind of this type of PC build? So if you drive 3 hours to a Micro Center, you better swipe that card and commit to that. Just like Ricky, right? It's funny because Ricky, and they'll tell you this, Wasabi and Takuma will definitely tell you this. When Ricky went over to Micro Center, originally he wanted a 9060 XT, right? And then he made a large leap. He went from 9060 XT all the way to a 5070 Ti. So I haven't been there in a while, but from what I saw online that I was checking, they have a solid stock in store. That's awesome, because then that'll make it so much easier for your trip. LG Ultra Gear are great monitors, are good. I have two X32. You know what's funny? That same monitor you have, Yali, is the one I have right there. The one where it's next to, this one's the ASUS OLED, right? And the one here is the LG Ultra Gear. Excellent monitor. I certainly do love it as well. It's definitely it's been top notch, I gotta say. It's definitely one I certainly would highly recommend as well. And we bullied. This is so funny. This was hilarious at the time. Like, we bullied Ricky into buying the 5070 Ti. It's funny because he was just like, he just went in the store. He was like, man, he's like, I only want to spend like 300 to like $400 onto the GPU. And we're like, but you want to stream and you want to do this and you want to do a lot with your PC. You really want to improve the performance. You want to enjoy gaming. And he was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I want to do all that stuff. I want to. And at first, he was going to say, you know what, I'll just get the 5070. But we're like, oh, but the 5070 only has 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and that's like the minimal. That's not really going to get you through everything. And we were like, yeah, even even the Micro Center, the guy that was also helping him, he was even saying, like, yeah, you should get it up to 16 gigabytes. So he ends up getting the 5070 Ti because of it. Got the Q. My bad. Got the Q. Okay, so you got the Q. So the Q, let's see. Let me copy that real quick. Because I know it's going to be a very slight variation. Usually it's because they change up, like, maybe they might change up like the way the software is onto the display is when it comes to the monitor. So usually that's why they come out with revisions like that. So OBS and editing software will thank them. I agree. It's going to be so much easier. Like, if you are more of a person that does use it, use your PC more for other than just gaming, then it is better to get NVIDIA in that sense. Like, if you plan on video editing, you plan on using things like DaVinci, and you plan on doing things like OBS, it's a bit more simpler when you do have an NVIDIA card in that sense. If you have an AMD card, you can do it just as well, but it just won't be just as fluid because the codecs aren't just as good. So here in Switzerland, we have Digitech and Brack. And in Germany, these are the stores where Case King and Mind Factory, where I buy parts, right? You know, I've heard of Mind Factory too. And I've heard a lot of great things about that place. Let's see. The QQ. I don't even think they... Wow, 600. So they still want 600. No, that's the XG. It was like, what? There's no way they want $600 for that one. And so right now I'm just trying to find it. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at now. This whole PG279Q. PG's, let's see. No, this is the QM. It's on eBay. That's like the closest look I can get to it. Man, they got so many different revisions of this monitor. So my question, Alexis, is what will you be using the monitor for? That way we get a better idea on the handle. So also check it. Also LDLC. Sure. That's so it's another store. Oh yes, I forgot. So you guys have pretty decent stores from what it sounds like. You have a good priority. For us in the U.S. currently, we only have Micro Center to really purchase our stuff. Now you can go to Best Buy to get things, but everybody will tell you Best Buy is not the perfect place. You know, pretty soon we'll actually do a stream in Best Buy and take a look around and show you what kind of things they have. More than likely, it'll probably be very brief. It's not very intricate Best Buy. I'll certainly show you what they have. Micro Center is definitely the more higher preferred store when it comes to PC components. Now, if you're shopping online, the best places to certainly go, US wise, is at least go to Newegg and Amazon. It would be nice if Micro Center did have like an online store. They kind of do, but it's not. It's for like more like pickup. And what else? Those like are the three top, I'd say, in the US side when it comes to that. So my new monitor is the LG OLED 48C57LA. Yes, and I bet you're loving it. How are you liking it so far? Like you've been enjoying. Have you tried like different like movie shows, gaming wise? I know you've been having a blast on it. That's got to be quite a phenomenal display for sure. And you know what? Let's go here too, because I wanted to check something too. I want to check out some hardware here and see what has been out. Take a look at this. This is pretty interesting, guys. And which is the Amazon UK is, yeah, I agree. Like sometimes Amazon is a bit overpriced when it comes to certain hardware, so be really careful. A new type of 3D scanner are open to the public, which is wild. So you could actually do a full 3D scan. This would be useful, especially for those who want to do 3D scanning and printing. That's pretty crazy. So let's see. This is their Inspire 2 3D scanner. So just imagine you're doing like things like this. Yeah, exactly. So like that's exactly what I would imagine using it for like 3D printing, really. So you could do a 3D scan, and then you can print it. So like say you do a 3D print. Actually, I'm just thinking you could do like a 3D scan of like say your dog, like just like we could do Jonah here, which is our mascot. We can do Jonah here, scan him, and then we can print him out. Ricky can. Yeah, absolutely. I asked him if he played it. He says he's downloaded Borderlands 4. And he didn't. So if anyone's wondering, he didn't actually purchase the game. It came with the NVIDIA card. So if you do purchase an NVIDIA card, it comes with Borderlands 4. If you purchase Intel CPU, which was a very quick and brief sale that they had for 2 weeks, that you got the Battlefield 6 key. So we ended up getting 2 games out of his build, which is a nice advantage he has. Recently, he's been playing a lot of Helldivers 2. And to share real quick, speaking of which, on his build, on Helldivers 2, he had a problem to where he was playing on Epic, but he had one crash on it so far, and he wasn't sure why. So I told him you got to make sure to put his RAM into Expo, because it not on Expo, but his system's XMP. So I told him put it on XMP, and also make sure to update your BIOS too, because that's going to be important. And so you could go back on Epic and give it a shot then. So he hasn't tried it yet. He hasn't tried to go back into the Epic side again, because his PC should run it with no problem anyway. But ever since then, he's been traumatized because of the one crash. Because when it crashed on that game, it didn't give him a blue screen or nothing, but it just crashed on that game, and he just watched like what stopped spinning, and he noticed his GPU stopped spinning. And also, I told him to do a driver update as well. And more than likely that the problem will be resolved then. And but he's been traumatized since, so now he's afraid to put it into Epic now. So just gaming, but this monitor is also almost like 10 years old. I plan on getting a 9800 X3D and a 9070 XT. Do you think it will bottleneck, or will it still be good? No, not at all. That's a great combination you chose. So monitor-wise, if you're using it for gaming, I would suggest. So I would suggest try going ultrawide. I always suggest ultrawide monitors. That might be a bit biased, but But if you don't want to go ultra wide, and you want to go like 1440, you want to get a decent one, they do have newer monitors out there. One I can recommend, and it's not expensive, is the ASUS. There's a ASUS Tough monitor. It's only like 300 USD, and that will certainly fulfill your needs. 1440, and it has a decent high refresh rate. I think up to 300 hertz. And again, it's not expensive. That's something I can certainly recommend if you're looking into ASUS, which I can certainly share with you. Again, feel free to join Discord, and I can show you there too as well. Helldivers 2 without a wood keyboard. Yes. Yeah. Should we get into the wood keyboard again? If you want to take a walk in nature, you want to get a a nice little, what is it, a walnut type of keyboard with a walnut mouse, and then it feels like you're in your cabin. Arizona, it's 6:48 a.m. here. Good morning, Tony. Welcome in. Glad to see you. Thank you for joining in on the stream last night. Definitely do appreciate you. Borderlands 4 on badass with all the options on blast to play on my OLED TV. Tony, oh no. Yeah, the wooden keyboard. And the legendary wooden keyboard. We really gotta make a meme out of that. Let's see. Let's take a look at this wonderful beast here. Let's take a look at this beautiful, wonderful beast here. So my LG Ultra 32-inch was 280 euros, 1440p, 180 hertz, plenty for gaming. Absolutely, that's a great example. Violi brought up a great point. Not expensive, and you can certainly get a monitor just like that. It's funny too because, believe it or not, I actually lost that page. Where was it? I'll certainly find it again. Let's see. Oh, that's why. I'm typing in like a little bit off, and now we should find it. Why we ended the stream with the damn with keyboard. Next stream you should use it as a picture. Yeah, exactly. That is pounds, not yours. Oh, I apologize. So, 280 pounds. So let's take a look here. Crowlander wooden keyboards. Is this it? Wooden swappable. Let's take a look. Right there. Version. You could get this nice little beautiful wooden keyboard to sit right at your desk. You could swap out. That keyboard makes me itchy. It certainly does, right? And it's made with the finest oak. They got a typewriter. If you can't get enough, if you don't like square shaped keys, they do have ones that are shaped like a typewriter. $740. Yeah, it is. Take a look at that. Like, what? Can you imagine? You show your friends this, like you're like, yeah, come check this out. I got this new $740 keyboard. Take a look at it, and you get this. Yeah. Does it have RGBs? Yeah, exactly. Typewriter edition. So when you see something like this, you picture a guy, right? You walk into their PC room and you see a keyboard like that. You don't think that they have lights. They don't have RGBs. They don't have any of that. They have candles. That's what you would immediately think, that they don't have like typical LED lights or nothing like that. They just have candles around their PC. Here's one for only $904. Your unique wooden keyboard, handcrafted just for you. You see that? Just for you. Your unique. Now you need a whiskey and cigar. If a friend of mine buys a wooden made keyboard, I am burning it. No, it's only 900. This is a Flintstones build. And the crazy part is, details-wise, let's see why they feel like it's valued at $904 here. Now, they said that this keyboard is made for those who love the look and feel of typing on natural wood. It's made of walnut wood. See? Walnut's the go-to. It has been air-dried for 12 years. So, every keycap is hand sanded and coated several times with eco-friendly coating. Gives durability while maintaining the natural appearance and feel of wood structure. So, you know, if you just wanted to touch a tree, there it is. more like a Amish. Yeah, let's do a review. We'll do a review with the MK9 walnut wood and versus a let's say a Corsair K100 keyboard, or let's go up against a, you know what? We should compare two wooden keyboards next to each other. The durability of it. And you know what? We need a true, you know, we have to collab with somebody. In fact, we have to collab with somebody that's Amish and see what he says about the wooden architecture. How's that? Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be a Amish YouTuber, right? So we got to get in contact with them and be like, hey, what do you think of this? Yo, touch Chris. Are there any ebony wooded keyboards? Let's find out. And just for you, if you're curious, it does. Take a look at this. Do you guys see it? It does have RGBs. So if anybody wants a wooden keyboard that has RGBs, this is it. Can you imagine that thing glowing? Like green, blue, yellow, all different colors there. Okay. So let's go ahead and try to find that ebony wood keyboard here. Oh, you can pre-order it. They got it on this one website. It's a pre-order, pre-built mechanical keyboard. This one's a very interesting look with a wood rest and snake ceramic. Man, that just... Oh. For some reason, when I see wrist pads like this, it just makes me feel like, ugh. Really don't like it. Oh, it's ceramic. So the keycaps are ceramic. Buy right now. It's sold out. I can't buy it. You see? I'm right there, sold out. Nothing I can do. Sorry about that. I know there are full metal keyboards like 100% aluminum or something near. If you ever make a collab and promote some wooden made hardware, Hey Chris, I caved and ordered a really Oakiness Cypress. Okay. I know they exist. Let's see, PC case. How about this? Right there. 251, the Kanto M-ATX version 1.3, the original wooden PC case. And look, you can easily take it apart. I mean, a 900 wooden one returned. Yeah, exactly. It might be worth it, right? And then to open it up, you just open it up just like this. That's kind of like, yeah, that's still metal. I don't like it because it has some metal on it. That's not wood. Band-Aid. Here it is. Corsair 5000 series wooden PC case panel. It's funny because it seems like they're really trying to push it to make it big. Because there are a couple PC companies out there, like Fractional Design does have like a wooden panel. I don't get it though. I put a bonsai in my case on the GPU now. I have. There you go. And this is from an official manufacturer of PC cases, Fractional Design. Now you can transform your gaming space, and now you can feel like you can blend in with nature. Imagine if they are. Think I will stay. Yeah, I agree. I'm much more of a. I still like the traditional cases a bit more. But take a look at this. Someone shows it on Reddit. They're very proud of this one. Latest wooden PC case. So I'm just curious at what the comments are on this. You ready? It says, "Damn son, this looks like something out of a sci-fi cult movie. Not much to say. I've never seen anything like it. Amazing work." At this point, you might as well build my PC on the floor with power key. Take a look at that. Copper tubing. All wood, all around. Look, even on the power supply. That's it. That's insane. Brings back the white cases that have the plastics that yellows. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Like if anybody does like a white build, I know now it doesn't do it as often, but the yellowing, that's always like a nasty look. And someone says this is art. This is sweet. You can increase the steampunk vibe. Very interesting look, I gotta say. Imagine there's sawdust under the key. I know, can you imagine that? Or can you, instead of buying like a cleaner, like air cleaning it, like when you wipe everything down, you're gonna have to get something like a wood polisher. So you gotta get a wood polisher to polish your keyboard or your case or whichever you have. And you know what's funny? They do have like wooden mats and everything. Like, let's see, wooden mat for keyboard and mouse. There you go. Number one, cause if your house, where they'll say, "Oh, where did this fire start from?" Well, it looks like it started from this room over here where there's a PC. This cigar is the reason what caused the fire, by the way. And there it is. Let's visit the store here. There it is. You get a nice little XL plank right there. Nice little bit of wood. Got a wrong choice. They have to have whiskey right there. What I can't get over still is this, the wooden mouse. Hey, some hardwood polishing your PC. I still can't get over this. I still can't get over it. Look at that thing. That's just terrible. A mouse mat chopping board. Can you imagine you got like wood shavings, like while you're just like you going into like a first person shooter or something, and you get wood shavings, and you got to be careful of getting a splinter. The undercut area. New idea. A wood build. Let's do everything from wood. You need that mouse. Yeah, because look at the horns. I've never seen anything like the horns here. Insurance company barely pays if they get a house gets on fire, and now the main cause will be because you have a wooden PC. Payments will be for it. Do you think it's possible to get like a like a finger burned. Like if you're typing so fast on a keyboard because it's wood, like almost like friction burn. Oh, this is hilarious. Yeah, hey, dude, can you tell me the specs of a mid-range PC in your opinion? It's only a Splinter. Oh, you know, speaking of Splinter, you just gave me an idea for the game. Splinter Cell. It brings a whole meaning to Splinter Cell. So, a mid-range for a mid-range PC, I would say is something like, say, like a ASUS Tough motherboard with a AMD Ryzen, say like a 9600. You get a Ryzen. I mean, you get a Radeon RX 9060 XT. That would be pretty much like a mid-range build. 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of NVMe. You could do a build like that for a very decent price now. But thank you guys again. I thank everybody for joining as always. I do appreciate everybody out there for coming into the stream. And hopefully I see you on the next stream. I always stream on Wednesdays and Saturdays. If you just started coming in, I apologize. If you're just coming in, I do apologize that you're just coming in to the end, but don't worry. There's always other streams that I will certainly do. Wednesdays to Saturdays, Wednesdays and Saturdays, Wednesdays between 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. And on Saturdays, I usually go on about 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. And thank you guys so much for joining in. And if you're interested in PCs and tech, make sure to subscribe and like this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the wood edition. Alright, that exactly, always. I still can't find an RTX 40. It's going to be hard, I'll tell you that. But sir, I hope to see you guys again soon. Make sure to join in on Discord if you have any more questions. We can certainly answer them. You can easily go to chrismizo.com and click the Discord link to enter into Discord, or you can go to the description box and down below. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Yes, have a nice weekend, guys. Enjoy your gaming sessions. I certainly want to try to play some Hollow Knight this weekend. I've been dying to play something like that. I know, I apologize, Jimmy the Third. Make sure to subscribe and to join in the channel. Make sure to join Discord, and we can certainly answer questions there. And I will certainly go live again sometime soon. Thank you, and see you later, chat. And I hope you do.